Story 1. I still only play video games and assemble Lego. Awesome. Story 2. He would probably just grunt at me from beneath his awful hairstyle. Story 3. I really do not know what he would say, but I would probably smack him for it. 13-year-old me was an idiot. Story 4. You promised you would have your life together by year 11. Now you are telling me you are a college dropout despite passing all your exams. Wait, you did not even get a 9 on every single one. You did not get a 9 at all? What is the point in existing then? You were supposed to become popular. You were supposed to be able to speak. And yet you make fun of me for my post-traumatic stress disorder. What do you mean? I do not have post-traumatic stress disorder. Story 5. You survived, which means you will keep surviving. Stay strong. Story 6. So you gained weight, have a bad job, and have not accomplished any of the things you planned to do. You lost all of your friends, and your family life is even worse. You are terrible. Story 7. You always hated people who smoke, and now you are a smoker. Story 8. Your style is so cool, and you look exactly like those girls plastered all over Tumblr. I am glad you finally started having an actual hobby again and plan to turn it into a full-time profession. Congratulations on overcoming depression and covering your scars with awesome tattoos. I am surprised you did not get any more piercings, though. Story 9. You have to tell someone. Tell anyone. It is not your fault. Story 10. Wait, so you have a PlayStation 5, your own personal computer, and you have had sex? That is so cool. You have to tell me how One Piece ends. What do you mean it is still going? Story 11. Take my girlfriend at the time to a film a bit better than All Dogs Go to Heaven. Story 12. Okay, are you serious? In 38 years from now, you will still be playing video games and have no life just like you do now. And you tell me that the ones who nearly killed me when I was out from La FNAC are related to our biological parents who are Lebanese? And that I will learn all about that in 27 years? Story 13. Why are you so overweight? I ran track as a kid and was really good too. I won a few medals, but I was recovering from a restricted eating foster home and moved into a home where food bonded the family. I lost control and cannot remember much after that. One day I was thin and then I woke up like I am now. It is hard to take control again. I fear I will be like this forever. Story 14. I am proud of you and your car is so cool. I am so excited to move to your city when I get older. You stayed true to yourself. Story 15. For the love of God, take the extra lunch money your father has been giving you and buy Bitcoin now. If you want to live free, you have to prepare. Bitcoin should be worth around 5 cents each. Do it now, you will thank me later. Story 16. What? All the work and all the pleasing for others does not make them love you in return, even if they act like that or even say it. Wow, nobody cares, I guess. Let us go another route. Story 17. She would probably say something like, what the heck? Why are you still an otaku? Story 18. Dang, I never would have expected you to be this fit and successful. Story 19. How did you convince mom to let you get a motorcycle? Then I would reply by saying, you just don't tell her. Then he would say, that's a bad idea. Then I would say, yup, it didn't go well. Story 20. When do we commit to repentance and faith in Jesus Christ? Story 21. I thought you would be a real adult by now. Also, we still have acne and no breasts. Story 22. He would take a look at me and walk away without a word, but I would tell him to buy Apple stock. Oh, and find a kid named Mark Zuckerberg and defeat him. Story 23. I see you have been working out. Good for you. Me, actually. Story 24. My 13-year-old self would try to debate me or have a breakdown about how I turned out. Story 25. Your job is only morally acceptable because of a technicality. You should be earning more money if you are going to sell yourself like this. Story 26. Your life is boring. I would tell him he is stupid and to go have fun. Story 27. He would probably call me a miserable person and then run away laughing. Story 28. My 13-year-old self would never understand the 58-year-old person who I am. So much life has happened, so many experiences. I do not even know if I would value my own opinion from back then because I have learned so much. Story 29. Not sure what he would say, but I am sure he would be up for a game of cards. Story 30. I can almost do a tray flip. Well, I can almost pop shove it and I can usually do a heel flip, so I can almost do a tray flip. You have probably got it down by now, right? Speaking of which, is Bam Margera still cool or did he sell out? Story 31. You have changed for the better. Continue living and pursue your dreams for your true loved ones. Story 32. That I am unpleasant. However, in my defense, 13-year-old me was also unpleasant, arguably even more so. Story 33. You have plenty of money to buy everything you have always wanted. Why do you not want all that stuff anymore? Story 34. Is it going to be difficult? Also, give me a Back to the Future style prediction to bet on so we can live more comfortably. Story 35. Still masturbating frequently, huh? I thought that would stop as I got older. Story 36. So it does not make you blind, and do I eventually get laid? Story 37. Are you married yet? No? That's so sad. Little me was a hopeless romantic. Story 38. That's me? How did you get so big? When did you stop playing outside, skiing, exercising, and laughing? Story 39. I would hug myself and say I always knew I would succeed in life. Do not give up, even though it looks hard, because look how far you have come already. Story 40. Wow, you collected every pocket monster. No way. Congratulations, old man. Story 41. Wait, you smoke now? Hold on, we're no longer friends with our best mates from high school? Holy crap, because they did that? Goddamn, we earn that much money a week? Christ, we have an insane gaming PC with a good setup, and it costs that much? Story 42. So writing wasn't just to express our emotions? It actually helped save me? My 13-year-old depressed self would be proud to see me today. Not everything is solved, but depression is gone for good and life is getting better. Story 43. I am going to go in a different direction than this thread. I think my 13-year-old self would say, "We have a fiancé?" Story 44. My 13-year-old self would be incredulous and intimidated. All her life she was told she was slut, that she would never amount to anything and she was better off dead. She was bullied and lived in extreme poverty. Bets were taken on when she would become a teen mother by her dad, sister, and stepfamily. She was taught not to ask for things and called a brat if she did. She was told she would have to settle for what she could get because no man would ever want her. She would never get a good job. Her family predicted she would have 5 children by 6 different fathers, never marry, and live in a trailer park. She was also terrified of dogs. The woman I am now has a college education, is marrying a man who is becoming a doctor, has no children but hopes for some in the future, owns her own home with a yard, has her own life, has friends, is alive, and has 2 dogs and a lizard. Is her life perfect now? No, but it is something her 13-year-old self would never fathom. Story 45. Just enjoy life, make art, do not be so worried about work and money, have fun. Story 46. Disappointed that I am not a millionaire living in a mansion in Los Angeles, but proud that we have left the abusive household and parent. Story 47. 13-year-old me would be so proud that it would blow his mind. Story 48. Wow, you have a lot of video games on your computer. Is it supposed to have lights like a spaceship? Story 49. I guess it got a bit better. Let us stick around to see if it can keep going that way, even if you fall again. Story 50. You insignificant person, what do you mean I couldn't get into that school? Story 51. Hey, what are those cards? Those are cool. Can you teach me how to play? Story 52. Dad didn't lie when he was about to die. Everything is all right and better than before. Story 53. You were doing the thing you wanted to do. That's amazing. I mean, getting there seemed a little difficult, but go us, I guess. Story 54. Why did you choose this course that made your life so miserable? At least you lost some weight. That is something positive in your sad life. Story 55. Depends on how much of my life the 13-year-old knows. If they had a full picture of my achievements, experiences, and current outlook on life, I would feel ecstatic and proud. Story 56. I think I became exactly what an adult version of 13-year-old me would be. That is probably not a great thing. Know yourself. Story 57. Nice job. I was abandoned by my parents as a toddler. It took a long time and hard work to climb out of that kind of poverty. Story 58. She would be so relieved and happy she would probably just cry. Story 59. Oh my God. You married him? He is so attractive. And he likes you too? Lots of excitement. Oh my God. And you have a baby? Story 60. You have grown sadder but wiser now. I am so proud of you. Continue to live and prosper. Story 61. Bert Station Plucky Im Follow Sophisticated Quicksand Tan 10 Unwritten. Story 62. You really want to know? He would say something like, what are you doing? None of this matters. You hate all of this. You swore you would never let this happen. Fix this. Fix it now. I am counting on you. Story 63. If you are alive, he must be dead. What do you mean he is not dead? Story 64. Well, at 13, I did not know what being transgender was, so I was very confused. Story 65. Things in life will not always be hard. Read more and be more creative with your thoughts, and you will become who you want to be. Story 66. Wow, you are cool. You have had sex, drank alcohol, and smoked marijuana. When do I get to do these things? Story 67. Do not harm yourself because you got a warrior cat's tattoo and a mustache. Story 68. My 13-year-old self would do anything to avoid ending up like me. Story 69. It's cool that you are all fired up, but what happened to your hair? What do you mean you never played Major League Baseball? Story 70. There would be a huge shock to learn I am an atheist now. 13-year-old me would not have been able to comprehend that. Story 71. I really thought we would have a more interesting job. Story 72. But Mom always made us wear pastel colors. What is this gothic style? Story 73. We lost both our grandfather and grandmother due to smoking, and now you smoke? Story 74. You are swinging some dad strength, and your arms are very large. Lastly, you are very old. Story 75. He asked me if more Spider-Man movies have been released, and we chatted about Tom Holland. Story 76. Wait, you get paid to go to parties and concerts, have met multiple celebrities, model, and receive free cosmetics? And have millions of views on your Instagram. Is Mom mad at us? Story 77. You have actually taken opportunities to stand up to your parents and call them out on their nonsense. That is surprising, considering you are the least confrontational one in the household. I hope she is at least a little proud of me. I am just sorry I could not be around to support her when she was 13. Story 78. Do you want to go ride bicycles? To which I would reply, do you want to ride bicycles while high? Story 79. No matter how long I had puzzled over it and written down possibilities, I never would have come up with that. Story 80. I spent last weekend at a summer camp-themed music festival and played in a ball pit. All parts of my inner child are very excited. Story 81. My younger self did not care much for words. He would just stare at me in disappointment. Story 82. Wait, we are still really short and did not become rich. You are disappointing. How are we supposed to get revenge like this? Look at you. Story 83. She would probably call me a sinner and try to convert me back to Christianity. Story 84. Nice that you are alive and doing things. What a time to be in the 2020s. COVID-19 is a thing of the past. What is 10 years later for me? Story 85. What monster have I created? I didn't think you would go this hard. Story 86. So we really lowered the bar for ourselves, yeah? Sure. Keep talking, kid. I'm not going to warn you about anything. Have fun dating that psychotic German gremlin in 2 years. The what? Story 87. Do you do all these things? There is no way. It is literally disgusting and totally unhealthy. Have you gone mad? Story 88. Is Mom doing okay now? I never thought I would be married one day and have a child. Story 89. Is Titanic still the best? Seriously, I was obsessed with this movie at 13. Story 90, wow, you have straight hair. Wait, where is your real hair? Story 91, why do you live so far away from your family? And don't you have a dog? I would explain how my hometown has a toxic culture and how my rental agreement forbids dogs. Then I would show the child my personal computer and virtual reality headset. The last computer game he played was on a Commodore 64, so modern virtual reality would amaze him. Story 92. Not much because I am not too far off from being 13. Probably think, wow, I got better at skateboarding or something. Story 93. Holy sick PC dude, you must be like kicking ass at games, right? Story 94. You don't play basketball for hours a day anymore. You work in sales. Well, at least your house is nice. Our son seems like a fun kid. Your wife is very attractive. How did we manage that? Story 95. Thank God, you were 6 feet tall. For a long time, I was one of the smallest for my age. Story 96. These people are not your friends. Do not ignore any of the red flags you see and never make yourself smaller to fit in. Story 97. Something rude. No doubt. Then I would respond and he would try to fight me. Story 98. Where is the Italian sports car and a ton of international travel expert? Story 99. Young me would absolutely hate current me, but probably would not recognize me as themselves anyway, given I have been on body-altering medication and had some cosmetic procedures done. Plus, I am a goth now, so they would probably just ask what I want. Story 100. Why did you choose consulting in computers instead of teaching physics? Story 101. 13-year-old me. Wait, so you're telling me that you became a Christian and left our family after realizing by yourself at 14 years old that you needed to find the meaning of life, what your purpose was, and why the world is the way it is after seeing how bad your situation was by not having any life skills and noticing how the school system was brainwashing kids into seeing religion as useless and morality in a backwards way. 24-year-old me. 13-year-old me. Then, later, you came into contact with an old preacher in Nebraska to better understand what you ought to do with your life. After 5 years enduring so much depression and loneliness in high school, and saving our brother from suicide due to our family becoming incredibly dysfunctional, you traveled halfway across the country by yourself at 18 to meet with the preacher to finally become one. Then, after that, you got not only the life skills and experience you wished for, but also got baptized in Tennessee, formed lots of good friendships, helped a lot at your church, got a nice apartment, a sporty car, a gaming PC, became fit, improved your communication skills, survived many dangerous situations thanks to God. And you finally got to fix your anxiety? 24-year-old me. Yep. Well, the anxiety part I still have to work on, but it has improved a lot lately. 13-year-old me. What about a wife? Are you still single? 24-year-old me. Closes eyes and sheds a tear. 13-year-old me. Oh, pats my shoulder. 13-year-old me. Hang in there, bud. Hang in there. Story 102. Son, please do not keep alcohol in your home. Do your best not to use pornography. Go out and meet as many people as possible. Love them despite their flaws, but move away from those who attempt to dim your light. When you find a woman you think you love, understand that you will have to love her without expecting anything in return. Then you will learn what true love is. If she does not love you back, be strong, accept it, and move on. The biggest enemy you will face is yourself, not because you are bad, but because you are hurting. Help yourself and you will heal. Lastly, Jesus Christ is and will always be your answer. Live your kid, do your best. Story 103. Call me a traitor, since at the time my father made me hate my childhood best friend, and we have since reconciled. Story 104. Haha, loser. Let me see. Without friends, without a partner, without a home of my own, with facial paralysis, but with a good job, a gaming computer, and a fit body from the gym. I won't say it's the life I was hoping for, but we'll be okay, dude. Story 105. He would not say anything. He would simply be more committed to ending his own life than he already was. Story 106. Wait, you are a left-handed bisexual progressive who works from home? You dirty communist. Story 107. Are you alive because I failed the suicide attempts or because I stopped trying? Story 108. Wait, you are saying you are not and have never been married? You are a public school English teacher? Sees how short my hair is and faints. Story 109. He was not very talkative. He would probably just give me a nod of acknowledgement and then go back to playing Minecraft. Story 110. How did you manage to make your life worse than it already was? Story 111. Him. Wow, you lost weight. How did you do it? Me. I stopped snacking and began exercising. Story 112. You are a disgrace. That is what my 13-year-old self would say to me. Story 113. I do not care what that person has to say. He knew very little about life. Story 114. Holy smokes, you have your dream job. I do video production for multiple New York sports teams. Like most people, I think I deserve more money, but I try to remind myself all the time that if you had offered me my current life when I was a kid, I would have taken it 100%. Cool job, house, wife, kids, dog. Thinking I deserve anything else would be greedy. Story 115. You bought a house 15 minutes from the beach. Why? You couldn't swim well at 13 and you still can't at 30. I was a bad talker. Story 116. How did you survive, Dad? I thought we were going to leave. Story 117. How did you manage to get into university? I am 18. Trust me, I do not know either. Story 118. No talking necessary. A good strong discipline is all that young person needs. Story 119. Wow, you are really pretty, said a girl who had no self-confidence. Story 120. This makes me think of the game Earthbound when the main character runs into his younger self. It's me. I am you when you were younger. Hey, let's play ball. Do you prefer reading comics or playing games? What? You are busy. Story 121. Wait, you get to touch breasts whenever you want? And you are not poor anymore? Story 122. He would probably call me a capitalist sellout while also being amazed we are still alive. Story 123. Are we doing television series and movies? No, Mom and Dad said we were dreaming too far up high. Story 124. So, you still did not get to confess to your first crush. Story 125. We are still doing the same thing we have been doing our whole lives. Okay. And I knew they would get divorced. Story 126. What happened to the hard rock radio host with a passion for weather and games? You used to be so happy. What caused this change? Now you seem like someone struggling with a gambling addiction. Why are you feeling broken? Please tell me what shattered your dreams and why you feel stuck in a mediocre cycle. Story 127. Why did we listen to Richard? We could have gone further and done better. Story 128. I would definitely walk away from that conversation feeling like a loser. Story 129. Wow, you live with a beautiful woman, you still play video games, you look really buff and strong, and you are confident enough to stop hiding behind all that hair. I cannot wait to grow up. Story 130. You covered yourself in tattoos? Doesn't that mean you are going to hell? I used to be very religious. Story 131. She would call me a nerd and spit in my face. I am scared of her. If we fought, she would win. Story 132. You're beautiful, you're amazing, and you're smart. There are evil, cruel, wicked people in this world. What they say to you is not true. You filter what is true and what is not based on who you know you are. Statements made are nothing but that. They hold no power and no meaning whatsoever until you give them meaning. I wish I had been uplifted consistently so that I was raised to have self-confidence in who I am and my abilities, rather than existing in life performing below them. But it is okay. I am doing that for myself now. Story 133. It is nice that we are wealthy. But did you have to become such a failure? Story 134. I am not sure. I still think he would be somehow proud, especially since my life did not work out in a straight line. Story 135. Oh my God. You got married? And to a boy? What happened to our girlfriend? Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.